everybody, it's Cindy here with Stampin' Chick Creations. Hello and welcome. We're going to give it a minute to catch up as Facebook does take a second to get caught up with my software. So it is Monday. Sorry, I'm just getting an error message pop up on my screen. It is Monday, November 25th. And if you are new, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for coming back week after week for a new project and some laughs, usually. So, yeah, I can't believe we're at the end of November. I'm kind of excited, but it's kind of like, wow, where has the time gone? So, as you hop on, say hello so that I know that you're here. And if you're new, I would love to know where you're watching me from. It's always interesting for me to know where people are watching from. So I guess when I posted my original post this week, I was trying something new. And apparently I posted this onto my personal page, not my business page. So, but I did post an event so that you can always get a reminder. And so that you get prompted that I've gone live. And then you can find me really easily. So you can always find me here on my Facebook page Mondays live, unless for some reason I have to cancel, and hopefully not too many more of those. And you can always find me on YouTube as well, on my YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Oh good, I see people hopping on. So yeah, so I just want to say hello. So I do want to give you one little tidbit of information. As demonstrators, we were able to see the Occasions Mini and the Celebration book that is coming out in January. And we were actually able to order from that book last week, which reminds me I need to double check when my order is arriving because I think it said December 2nd. I think it's what it said. So I will be doing an unboxing of that product just to give you guys an idea of what's coming. It's exciting. It's awesome. I have ordered a very limited amount of books. So if you are local and would like one set aside for you, I will be sending out a form shortly for that so that you can get your name on that. And if you are at a distance, I would love to say I could send you one, but if Canada Post doesn't stop striking, I can't guarantee that's going to happen. So let's all fingers crossed that Canada Post can come to some sort of resolution and we can get our postal system back and running. All right. So, you didn't come to listen to me blab, did you? I don't think so. All right, let's go. So, I was really, really racking my brain as to what I wanted to do this week. Now, I told you that I had a whole schedule of things that I wanted to do, and I've completely diverted from that. And I was actually going through some of my product and I was like, you know what? I haven't used this in a while. I haven't used that in a while. And so what I actually decided to do was pull out a product that, I haven't used in a long time. It's still current. It's not in a book anywhere. So I think we forget about it sometimes. So I wanted to kind of highlight it again because I absolutely love this stamp set. So, can you guess what it is before I show you? Yes, Joanne, I will save one for you for sure. Can anybody guess what stamp set I'm going to show you tonight? It also actually has a coordinating punch. So I'm curious if anybody can guess which one that would be. It's not a holiday one. It actually can be used for different occasions. So I'm curious. Because this one, honestly, I was going through my stuff and I was like, why am I not using this one? And I actually, for a little while, actually thought the whole thing was retired. And then realized, this is not retired. Why am I not using it? Any guesses? No guess. Hi, Sherry. No guess. No guess. Nobody has any guesses? Okay, let's go. Here, I'll show you. Truck. You got it, Sandra. Truck it along. Trucking along. I love, 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 love. So, I actually thought, because this was not, it was not in a book, I forgot it's still current. You can buy it through an online exclusive. So I thought, how cool would it be to show you kind of how fun and easy this card or the stamp set can actually be. So let's start, and I'm going to start down at the basics, okay? So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks about the stamp set that I have discovered as I was going, okay? Hi, Chris. Okay, so let's start with just a standard piece of basic white cardstock, okay? So I am going to use very limited supplies for this first card, okay? So I'm going to take out the actual truck, the outline of the truck. I'm going to take the, actually, you know what, let's not do that. Let's just take out the outside of the truck for right now. Now, I am going to use my glass mat, and I'm going to line up the wheels. Okay, so now I'm going to take my white cardstock, and I'm going to use my bone folder. Joanne has this but has never used it. Oh, honey! Oh my gosh, you're going to love this. Okay, this is like my favorite stamp set. I don't know why. I am a sucker for these old trucks. I don't know. Okay, so very, very limited supplies. Here's what I'm doing. Okay, black Memento ink. Okay, now, you know what I'm going to do? Because I am a messy stamper. If anybody knows me, whoops, daisies. I always have baby wipes really close to me. Just because I find baby wipes are a little bit easier to navigate sometimes. Okay, so I'm lining up my cardstock with my paper, my grid paper, right? And I'm just going to stamp my truck. Okay, bam. That's lovely, right? Okay, so black ink. Hi, Bev. Hi, Lynn. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my truck over here for a second because I'm going to use my truck again. Now, I'm going to close up my black ink for a second, and I'm going to bring in this part of the truck, okay? Now, I'm going to teach you something about this truck, okay? Something that I have learned kind of by trial and error. So, and you might find this very frustrating if you're using this for the very first time. So, under normal circumstances, what will happen, or what you want, okay, hang on. What you want to do is you want to stamp pretty hard, right? To make sure that you get a nice crisp image, right? And that's super important. But with this one, let me show you. This is my boo-boo. Can you see my window? See how it's filled in? That's because I was pushing too hard because I wanted to make sure I got a good coverage on my truck. With this stamp set, it's not actually cut out, this window. It's there. It's indented a little bit, but trust me, it's there, okay? So when you ink this one up, so this is a two-step stamping. When you ink this one up, so you do want to ink this up. Now, you can do one of two things. You can leave it like this. I like to actually kind of take my baby wipe, just because I know I'm a messy stamper. And I like to kind of just clean the window a little bit, which you don't have to do this. This is a total Cindyism. And then I just kind of go back in very lightly. Okay, it's filled back in. But the real important thing here is not to push down super hard, because if you push too hard, you're going to get your window filled in. So I'm going to line this up. Okay. Then I'm going to lift. Okay. So that's important. So you can see my window is still filled in there. Can you see that? So that's really, really important, because we have a tendency of wanting to push down because we want to make sure we get a really crisp image. If you do that, it doesn't work. Not with this stamp set. Okay? So that is really, really, really important. Okay, so I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to get this stamp set out if you have it, and like try this out. Okay, so now what am I doing? I'm using, these are going to be wheels, and I'm going to use my Memento black, and I'm going to ink this up. Now, my Memento Black, it doesn't matter how much I re-ink it, it just never seems to really be too dark. So, I'm going to try to do this without getting my head in the camera, but trying to line up my wheels. So, the really cool thing about this is that I'm using the center of the hubcaps, and the bottom of the wheel to see if I can line that up. Okay, so let me show you what I got so far. Oh no, you have got to use this. You friends, I'm telling you, you guys have got to use this one. It is so much fun to play with this one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece here, which is actually going to be, I'm going to use pecan pie. Okay, so you notice I'm only using one piece of cardstock here. Okay, this is pecan pie. You could use whatever color you want. Okay, and I'm just going to, so now my truck is grounded. Okay, but this is kind of a boring truck. So we need to put a Christmas tree in the back of the truck. I'm going to put this right here just for a second. So we need to grab both parts of my Christmas tree right here. Now, a couple things you can do here. So if you have masking paper, which y'all should better have some masking paper, you want to do this, okay? I've punched this out with my punch, with this punch. This one I just did on a sticky note, and I did that because I wanted it to be bright so you could see it on camera. But I'm actually not even going to use this because, well, I can use this. But, so essentially what I'm going to do is I could line this up on top. So pretending this is my masking paper, which is white, and then I can stamp my trees. Okay, which is going to go, hang on, this way. This way, I think is how it goes. Where's my trees? Yes, this way. But I actually am not even going to use that because I prefer not to. It's just my preference. But that's how you would mask. So if you've never masked before, masking paper is a phenomenal way to make sure that your tree always ends up in the right spot. Has anybody not ever used masking paper? I did a whole technique with it. A whole technique class, I think, actually, at one point with it. Hi, Janet. Hi, Maddie. It's okay. We're just starting, honey. So who has not used masking paper before? So much fun. So much fun. Not too often. Oh, I love masking paper. Okay, and it's phenomenal for this type of thing. Now, I've been stamping long enough that I could do this, but if you're not comfortable, by all means, go ahead. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do it this way. Let's do it just so you can see. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am lining my truck up. Okay, I'm going to take in my green ink, and I'm going to line up my tree. Okay, now I'm not going to take that off just yet because this is, the stamp set's a two-step stamper, right? Okay, so Sherry, it's the same concept, exact same concept. So like this, right? Like I've just used, Post-it notes because for the longest time, that's all I had, right? But it's the exact same thing. The only thing I'm going to advise you on is if you have the Stampin' Up! Masking paper, you actually want to unstick it a bit because it's actually very sticky. So just make sure that you're like putting it on your pant leg and like taking some of the stickiness off, and then that will kind of help. So I'm now taking, so I did the solid piece of my truck or my tree, and now I'm just going to go over it. Still using Old Olive. I'm only using one color ink. Okay, and it just puts the lines on. Now, if I remove that, my tree is where my tree needs to be. Okay? Okay. Now, this is still kind of plain Jane. So let's go ahead and go wishing you a festive Christmas. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you are sending this card to a friend, family, whoever, they are going to love this card, because who doesn't love a little, excuse me, a little red truck? Let's be honest. Stick it to your clothes. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Stick it to your clothes, take some of the stickiness off, and you are good to go. Okay, wishing you a festive Christmas. Okay, now I'm going to bring in Cherry Cobbler. So I want to show you, friends, how you do not need so many things. Okay, I'm a beginner stamper, never picked up a stamp before. There is my Christmas card. Bam! Look how cute this is. Okay, I used one piece of thick cardstock, because if you're using a base, you want it to stand. So I'm using one thick cardstock. I am using one black ink pad. Everybody needs a black ink pad in their crafting stash. I'm using a red chalk, but you could use whatever color chalk you want. I'm using one color of green, one pecan pie, and that, my friends, is it. Okay? Super, super simple card. Okay? So, you do not need to make your cards extremely complicated. Now, if you're like, okay, but Cindy, come on, that's like really, really, really basic. Like, my friends and family are going to expect a lot more from me. Okay, that's fine. So, let's step it up a notch. Okay? So, let's go ahead and take one more piece of white, thick white cardstock. Okay? But instead of just doing it right on cardstock, what if I just layer a piece of white on top? Okay, now let's do the same thing. I'm going to show you how this one will work, but you want to stay with me, because you definitely want to see the third card. Now, I am not actually going to stamp on that one right now. I am actually going to take a piece of scrap paper. Okay, I am going to bring in my lined truck with my Memento Black. Okay, now my Memento Black, I use a lot of Memento Black, so I am stamping that pretty firmly. Okay, so there's my truck. Now, let me take this truck off for a second. Let's go ahead, let's do the wheels next. Why not? Just while I have my black out. Okay. Can you see this? I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So lining up the hubs and the bottom of the wheels. And I'm trying to do this without my head in the camera. Okay, so there's my wheels. And then I'm going to bring in my solid truck, right? Because we talked about the solid truck. And I'm going to stamp that. So I'm using Cherry Cobbler. I'm going to be brave, and I'm not going to clean the window on this one. So fingers crossed, I don't push too hard. And then I'm lined up. Okay, there's my truck. So I'm cleaning that off. Now, what I want to do is I am actually going to take my punch. Okay. So here's my punch. So now your punch has got the fenders. It's got the, I think these are supposed to be the wheels. And then I think this is supposed to be the window, maybe? I'm not sure. But anyway, I don't use those pieces. I really just use it for the actual truck. But, okay. Now, so I'm going to put this to the side for a second. I'm going to bring in that white piece that I said. This is not my card base. This is just my standard white bottom, right? Now, we are going to bring in our dimensionals. Now, my large dimensionals are somewhere else. And I'm only working with little ones right now. So, okay. So now I'm going to line this up using my grid mat. I'm going to place my truck about here. Okay, so now my truck is popped up. I'm going to use my grounding with pecan pie. Now again, you can use whatever color you want for this piece. And I'm going to ground my truck like that, right? And then ground my truck, close up my ink pad so I don't get my fingers in there. Close up my block ink. That would be super awesome. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my solid with my old olive. Now, you can do this exact same concept with any of the parts that are in the stamp set. Okay, so I'm actually pushing pretty hard on my green just because this green, for some reason, I don't know why, is not that juicy. Okay, so now I'm not masking this. I'm literally just going straight on. Okay, so there's that. And then, so it goes to show you that, you know, you can mask 110%, you can, but you do not absolutely have to. So if you want to skip that step, the great thing is these are photopolymer stamps. So what that means is that you can see where you are stamping. And then I'm going to do my darker green. Okay, so that's my outline part. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my cherry cobbler again with my wishing you a festive season. And let's make sure this is straight when you're stamping. Okay. Okay, so now let me close up my ink pad so I don't get my fingers in it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, oh yeah, all my glue is not near me. I'm going to bring in my, oh, did you see what I just did? I just got a white smudge or red smudge on my card. Grr. I don't even know where that came from actually. Okay, so then let's pretend the red smudge is not there, because this will just go in my sample. I am just adhering it onto a white piece of cardstock. Okay, but now this one, it's popped up so it has that 3D look to it, right? Forget the smudge, but it's the exact same card. So let me bring back the original card. So this is my original, and it's probably very hard to see on camera, but this one actually just gives it that dimension. Okay, and then you've got your second layer here, so it just adds a step up. Okay, so you're like, okay, but seriously, that's still really, really simple, and you know, people are going to expect more from me still, which I get. So that's where our third card is going to come into play. So what we're going to do is we are going to take, what are we going to take here? We're going to bring in another piece of cardstock. Okay. So just basic white cardstock. That's all we're working with. And I am going to bring in my snowflake embossing folder, which I just had here to show you. Right here. my snowflake embossing folder, which if you don't have this one is amazing for the holiday season and winter season. So I'm going to bring this in. Now, we had a big debate recently with some of my customers during the technique classes. Should the heavier snow be at the top, falling, or should it be this way where the snow is landing onto the ground? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? I personally think it should be going this way, so it's heavier falling and lighter coming down. Anybody have any thoughts on that? You guys tell me if it should be heavy on the top or heavy on the bottom. I know it takes you guys a second to get caught up. So, you guys carry on. I'm going to put my mask back in here so I don't lose it. Heavy to light, I think. Me too. That's what I think. I agree, because I think when it's snowing heavy, and then it lightly hits the ground. Top. Heavier to the top. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Because if you look at the embossing folder, if you look at it, because this is a Stampin' Up! Logo, the heavier is actually down here. But it should technically go this way. So, anyway, we had, I think it depends on what you like. I agree. And you know what? You saw me use it on a card a few weeks ago where I actually did it so that you got most of this heavy part and we didn't get a lot of this light, right? So this is the beauty of the embossing folders, is that you can kind of manipulate these whichever way you need to, which is awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this piece down. So I have just taken the same piece of white DSP, or not DSP, white cardstock. I have embossed it, and I pre-did that because my embossing machine's not close by. Oops, the daisies. And we're going to try to glue this down straight, because that's always super duper helpful when that happens. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Now, what I've done is I took this circle. So this circle is, I like the heavy to show more, so I put it where it'll be covered less. Yes, I agree. So I've actually taken this circle is from a Spotlight on Nature. And you can use whatever circle you want. I like this one. I like this whole set of dies, actually, because it's got different patterns in it. And I find it's just not too much. It gives your card a little extra, but not too much without taking away from your card. So, and it shows you how you can coordinate different dies with different stamp sets. So I have this. I'm actually going to put my card base to the side for a second. I have my circle here, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring in my scrap paper one more time. And what I'm going to do is grab a pair of scissors, but I don't want to use my ribbon scissors. Oh, I did it again. Hang on. Bear with me for 3 seconds. I forgot a step. Don't anybody have a heart attack right now because I'm doing this. Okay, let me back up the bus a bit. One of the things we want to do, and I forgot to do this on my original card, and I meant to do it tonight, is, and as soon as I saw my ribbon scissors, it made me think of it, we want to bring in ribbon, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tie this down here, and I'm going to tie it in a knot. If you know me, I don't do bows. So, okay. Then I'm going to bring in my ribbon scissors. I'm going to snip. And I'm going to snip. Okay. So this is the sheer ribbon. And it has the silver. It's sheer with silver in the middle. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to actually just move that down just a hair. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring in my glue one more time. I'm going to try to adhere it in the same spots. Like that. Okay? That's what happens when your brain's going faster than your Or your hands are going faster than your brain. Okay. So let me put that down. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to put that to the side. Then we're going to bring in our scrap paper again. This is what I want to do right here. Okay. We are going to bring in what? Let's bring in our black truck. So you're noticing that I'm putting my one truck on the one side of my block and the other truck on the other. I do that often because it doesn't hurt anything, especially if I don't have to line anything up. So I'm stamping my black truck. So how many of you are actually going to pull the stamp set out and use it? Now that you've seen a few cards made with it. Or is this still one that you won't probably use? I think it's an adorable one for Christmas, but I also think it's a great one for birthdays, like masculine birthdays. I think it's a fantastic one for. Oh, okay, let's do that one again. I pushed a little too hard. Okay, let's try. There's a little smidge of red in my window and I don't like it. So there, let's try that. Okay, let me see if I can do this again without pushing too hard. Just trying to line it up so my head's not in the camera. There, that's better. Okay. Oh, Christmas ornaments. This would be a nice one to do Christmas ornaments with, Janet. Yeah, this one would be really, really nice. I feel like the truck is just one of those ones that everybody just likes, right? Like it's just one of those timeless ones. Very, very popular. Okay, let me see here. Now, let me clean this block off here. The tires, honestly, is probably the worst part of this, and it's just because I'm trying to not get my head in the camera. But if you're doing this, they're pretty darn easy to do. Okay, so now, here's my truck. I'm happy with the truck. I'm going to actually cut this piece off. There we go. And I'm going to line this up. As best as I can. Hang on. I'm just being too particular, actually. Just want it to be just so. Okay, so I'm punching that out. I'm done with my scrap. I'm going to bring back my circle, right? Then let's step it up and give it a little pop-up here. But before I do my pop-up, I'm going to do something a little different. I am actually going to bring in my sentiment first. Okay. Now, when I did my original card, I did not do this, and I hit it pretty darn lucky. So, I'm going to do Wishing You a Festive Christmas. Oh boy, let's get that off there. This is just me being rammy. So this actually just fits on this circle. Okay, so there's my circle. And the reason I did the sentiment first is because now I can actually decide based on where I stamp this, where I want my tree to go, or my truck to go, and how much space I have to go from there, right? So I'm not going to do any grounding on this one because I don't think I need it because I have my sentiment there, right? But I definitely need my trees still. So let's go ahead and do our trees. Take this one off. When it's something like a two-step stamping, I don't really like to keep both stamps on there at the same time just because I find it gets a little bit wonky. Okay, so there's my tree. Now again, I could have masked this with my masking paper, right? And then I'll come in with my same old olive. So again, I'm still using the exact same 3 colors. Not 4 colors if you want to include the black. I'm not changing anything except for how much layering I'm doing. Okay, so here's my truck. And then, what if I take my dimensionals and I pop this up? Now, if I had big dimensionals, this maybe would be a little better, but they're not close by. So, okay, and there is my 3rd card. So, let's take a look. I think I have more ink on me than I do on the paper, but I'm here. That's so cute. Yeah, we could have done presents actually, Sheila. I just saw that. Oh my goodness. I just saw your comment. Okay, so let's go take a peekaboo at card number 1. I'm a beginner. I've never crafted before, but look at me. I just made this beautiful card. And I only needed 1, 2, 3 colors. 1 stamp set, that's it. If you want to include the black, 4. Okay? And then I've been crafting for a minute or 2. I've now used my punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to count the black. Right? And then I'm an avid stamper. I've been doing this for a very long time. And here's my last card. So you can see how you can make your cards as simple or as intricate as you want. Exact same card, exact same style, just 3 totally different looks. Right? So, if you have the stamp set, I strongly encourage you to pull it out. I'd love to see your alternatives to this. You know, you might not have, you may not want the trees. Maybe you do want the presents. You could take this exact same card layout and instead of using the trees, what if you use the palm trees, right? You could use the palm trees. You could, use the flowers instead, right? So now it's one design and you're just changing the colors of the truck and you're changing the parcel in the back, and all of a sudden you now have a whole variety of cards with one stamp set. Okay, so you could put the little rails on the back of the truck if you wanted. You could put it with the grass. You could put some trees beside it. There's like so many things you can do with this one. So I don't want you to overlook this because it's not in the book. It is an online exclusive, which means you can only see it online. So I know that's a kind of a new concept for most, but I will tell you that there are lots of new online exclusives coming as well into the new year. So there's some really, really nice ones as well as Celebration and the Occasions Mini. So if you have masking paper, you can absolutely mask that. You could actually fussy cut that too if you wanted. You don't even have to use the punch if you don't want. It's a pretty easy one to cut, so not like you would have to do a lot with it. So but yeah, I strongly encourage you to give that a try. If you don't want to do a holiday card, don't do a holiday card. Do it as a sending you sunny thoughts or a special delivery, and just use presents for a birthday, or use palm trees for, you know, a summer birthday or something, right? There's like these flowers. So this is a 2-step stamping. That's 2-step. That's 2-step. These ones here, I think, are 2-step as well. So there's really, really, really lots you can do. So this is definitely a versatile stamp set, so don't overlook it. And then, of course, the coordinating punch is adorable. And a punch is a punch, right? Like, it's always fun to use this. So standard, popped up with some extra bling. Yes, if you can't find your masking paper, Bev, you can most definitely use just a sticky note, because that's what I used for a very, very long time, was sticky notes, until I discovered our masking paper, and discovered the little trick about making sure that you actually put it onto your clothing and take some of the stickiness off. You do get a lot of masking paper in a package. Oh, I think I took, oh, hang on, here it is. Oh, those are adhesive sheets. Those are not going to work. Those are adhesive sheets. Shoot, I took my masking paper downstairs, I think, to use for the card making class. But you get a lot of adhesive sheets in one package, and you don't need very much of it usually, right? So, and then what I try to do is, like, I try to keep my masks in with my stamp sets as best as I can, until they get really bad, and then I'll, like, obviously throw them out and start over. But you can reuse these masks multiple times, right? So definitely a super fun one. It's excuse me, one of those ones you can use for all sorts of occasions. So didn't want you to overlook it, because I know I'm in the process of doing my holiday cards if Canada Post cooperates, and I think these ones would be super fun to send out. All right, so thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I challenge you, if you have the stamp set, show me your alternatives, show me what you've done, and then let me see kind of like if you change the color of the truck. I actually saw a really, really nice masculine card done in the pecan pie colors, and it was really, really nice. So I do encourage you to turn these into different occasions and challenge you. Okay? All right. Thanks everybody for joining me. I hope you're having a great night. I hope you're having a great week. And we will talk to you very soon. Bye, everybody.